Hi, Carl Rodriguez, Balance and Ascension Coach, here to talk today about clearing. What do we do when we experience negative emotions, whether that be fear, anger, sadness, shame, guilt? Everything really boils down to fear. What do we do, and how do we move forward in our lives when we're experiencing those things? Well, one of the things that I talk about obviously is everything is energy, and we are going through what we call an ascension process. So we are making progress as a collective, and we're all interconnected. So the more that people have been doing this kind of clearing work, the easier it's becoming. So I have good news and I have bad news for you. I have good news in the sense that some of the tools, and I'm going to share with you an MP3 which you can download underneath this video, which is one of the most brilliant, powerful, simple techniques for processing fear now and allowing it to transform, that I've been gifted from a lady called Analia Benz from her website ascension101.com, and I've recorded a version of it so that I can also share it with you. I'm going to talk you through a bit of the principles behind it, to do with it's doing energy work, and it helps you to clear layer upon layer of this stuff, really, which is, it's no longer serving us. And I don't mean this in a sense of judgment. One of the things that's so important about how we approach dealing with fear and dealing with shame or any of these negative emotions is, it's all part of who we are right now. And of course, if you're watching this video, you want to live in higher states of joy and bliss, but it's not about having that permanency. It's about being balanced and being able to heal ourselves and do. The bad news is that you can't rely on somebody else in the collective to do your own work for you. There are tools that make it easier to work through this stuff, but you still got to do your own stuff rather than trying to work around it. Who am I to be talking about this subject? Just to throw into the mix, my own journey. I mean, I have been through a very rigorous process of healing addiction, which took me a number of years to really do some very deep, thousands of hours, spent in groups and on individual level, and connecting to, my higher power, my sense of an expanded sense of who I am, in order to learn how to process these things, in order to know how to release things and heal myself. And so I'm able to pass on some of this learning. And also, I went through therapy for 4.5 years. One of the things about, how do we make our way through this, the paths that others went before me, the collective, we are evolving. And so it's easier to process fear, and it's easier to heal than it ever has been. So let me talk you through a bit about the process. It ties in with this guided meditation, which hopefully you'll do. But it's really, the crux of this is about, what my old friend Yoda would say: named must be your fear, before banish it you can. You've got to, when you feel something, you feel angry, feel sad, rather than, the rational mind, which has been controlling many people, or it's been controlling our society decision-making wise, is always based on pain and pleasure. So it's trying to do us a favour by avoiding some potential pain that we might be experiencing in the form of sadness or anger. And it will think, no, I'm going to give you some pleasure instead. I'm going to make you feel better. I'm going to just put on a happy song. I'm going to put on a comedy program. I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm going to, eat some chocolate. Now, no judgment on any of those things, but don't expect them to then resolve that thing which was initially coming up for expression. This is a process, and there's a balance to it. So we don't have to feel like we're always having to sit cross-legged and process fear. But what I am saying is that I can give you now, in this guided meditation, in 8 minutes, the ability to really do some fundamental, very powerful energy work, which will, if you persist and do this layer upon layer, will have a massive transformative effect on your ability to move forward. And it will also have a knock-on effect on your feeling able to then deal with other things, because also you want to be able to shift your thoughts as well as doing the energy work. It's about, the thoughts are creating the feelings. So being able to first of all, name. So the thoughts, what are those thoughts that are creating this anger? What are the thoughts that are creating this sadness? Try and find the underpinning core fears. So if you find something, say, well, what's underneath that one? When you can work on a core fear, of course, it will bring a whole load of other related ones crashing down. So name it, own it. Now, own it is about, feeling the feelings, and when you shine a light on something, allowing yourself to be in that anger, allowing yourself to be in that sadness. But one of the things that's very important is, as I've done this work over the years and got better at it, one of the core key things that you can be doing, obviously, is developing your relationship with whatever you want to call it, whether it's the loving universe, whether it's nature, whether it's a sense of your expanded higher self, your higher power, your heart. Your heart is more powerful than your head. I don't care what anyone says. There's a lot of research that's coming out that says the heart is a monumentally powerful, thing. And also, yes, our mind is humongously powerful as well, because our thoughts are creating our reality, etc. But we haven't been allowing our heart, our fierce heart, to help us through these processes, like what to do when we get angry. Because what will happen often is, if we are allowing ourselves to own the anger, many's the time when I used to sit and I'd invite what my concept of my higher power or higher self to sit with me whilst I was angry. Now, I wouldn't necessarily, well, I'd certainly be importantly not wanting to give that anger to somebody else or direct the anger towards the person who I have felt been the cause of why I was angry, but simply to be with that anger. And I would find that actually what would happen, and one of the key things with this, whether you're doing this work on an energy level or some thinking through, as I'm talking about right now, is that things will shift, things will transform quite quickly when you really fully embrace something. So you've named it, you've owned it. Quite quickly, if you own some anger, watch what happens to it. It can quite often turn into sadness. Because when we really, have some compassion for ourselves and bring our heart, bring our expanded sense of this loving universe, this force of love that is ever present and ever available to us, you can't. I've found anyway. This is my experience of it. It's very difficult to stay angry for a long period of time. So when you do this meditation, this MP3 that I'm going to share with you, the process allows you to actually experience and own and just connect to that fear, whatever form it takes. And you can also allow something to come up without having to analyze and define something. You feel some, it's like you feel some energy in your body, you feel the fear in your body. You allow it to express itself, you allow it to expand. And what you find after a period of the process is you can then embrace that fear. And what will happen often is that something that might be apparently unrelated will come up for you. You'll get a memory from some point in your past that you'll intuitively know is connected to this fear, but it will be some memory from the past which actually froze that energy in your body. Everything is energy, so fear is energy. And what we're doing is, as we're going through life, we're actually, because we've got repetitive thoughts, but also situations that happen to us, they embed and freeze these lumps of energy in our body that then stay there. And then we go out and get more evidence to support those beliefs, and that we get more fears, and until we learn how to release and let go of them with some intention to do that and to heal ourselves and move forward and move into, yes, choose joy and choose bliss, and but love yourself and love your shadow, and just allow that shadow to exist. Because what happens is, as you put a light on in a dark room, when you bring and embrace, as the part of the process is, when you embrace it with love and light, which is really available to you, and you allow that expanded sense to come in and heal you. Yes, tears might come up, but you'd be surprised actually. You might well not feel sad. You'll just feel like at a certain part of the process that fear, which was trying to do something, the same way the mind is trying to look after us through avoiding pain and giving us pleasure. All these things are trying to help us, but we've been living in this environment where really there's been a lot of things that have just not been serving us, a lot of belief systems and a lot of internal stuff that just, is ready to be shifted now so we can get on with our lives in a really much more flowing, beautiful way. So download the MP3. Work, if you don't do that, or do it in conjunction with just experimenting with whatever feels like your higher self, your expanded sense of who you are, and allow that presence to also take this stuff from you. Shine a light on it and then release it and offer it up. That's really what I want to share today. There are other things you could look into. There's a quite difficult to pronounce process, which is a Hawaiian process, which some of you may know, which is Ho'oponopono. If you look that up on Google, there is a meditation that somebody's going to be recording soon, which I'll share with you. If you get in touch with me at carl@peacethroughaction.com, I'll make a point of sharing that with you as well, which is another beautiful process which allows you to, one of the key things about this is we've got to be able to come to some level of awareness of the pain that's associated with having these pains. Embrace them and let them have their say, and then know and trust that we're bigger than that, and not in a judgmental way, just in a sense of just feel that love. Love can conquer and is conquering all. That is the process that the collective is going through, and all this work that I've done, people have gone before me have done, and others, many people on the planet at the moment, including yourself, have been doing this, taking responsibility, personal development, healing work, and so believe that these things can be done faster than they ever have been in the past, and I wish you luck. I send you love, and let me know how you get on. Namaste.